Dumelang, Sanbanani, Tagazani, sending you all love because love is the highest vibration. And I would like to share with you a tool that I've been using to deal with all of these emotional upheavals that were taking place this past couple of weeks. I could blame like the retrograde and all the astrological events that were taking place, and my eclipse season and whatnot. Or it could just be internal change and things that have been buried in the subconscious just coming back to the surface so that they can be healed. And even like external triggers just coming at me to check ukuthi ngisho ukuthi ngi-right. I know ukuthi sometimes when you experience something, there are moments where when you're triggered, you do not react immediately, but what happens is that scenario will come back at like a random time in your life, either a week later or a month later or an hour later after an incident, and then it starts replaying in your mind, and scenarios of how you could have handled the situation also just come back, and that could lead you to being like super worked up about feeling some type of way, being all kinds of emo. Whenever this happens, Spirit has led me to using a technique where I chant the following words: I am not in the mind, I am in the heart. I am not in the mind, I am in the heart. I chant this until I feel calm whenever these triggers happen, whether it's instantly or an hour or 2 months later when a trigger pops up in the form of a memory that I relive in that moment, and scenarios start replaying in my mind, causing frustration and unease or dis-ease, emotional dis-ease. I chant that, and the beautiful thing about it is you can say it even in your mother tongue. Kaspedi, you can always just chant. And what this does is it shifts you from what you're thinking to what you're feeling. And it's easier to change how you're feeling than trying to change what you're thinking. When you do this, it brings you to the present moment and reminds you to not be affected by your thoughts, to not be affected by what people say, to not be affected by what other people do. Instead, you choose how you feel in that moment. It also reminds you to breathe, because half the time when we have these internal attacks, it's usually when we are not breathing. Therefore, try this technique and see if it'll help you center yourself, ground yourself, and bring yourself from the mind to the heart. Because when you're operating from the heart, you're more compassionate, you're more calm, and less vengeful, angry, or frustrated.